We're here live at Northwood University today. We are at the CAMS Summit. We are at America's University. This panel today, dealer relationships and customer experience panel. Ted, we have a star-studded group with us.
I'm excited about this panel, Sarah Van Tyne. So we have some great industry leaders and voices here. I'm going to have you each introduce yourselves and tell us what you do, starting with Eric.
Thank you, and I want to start by saying thank you to Northwood, thank you to LG, thank you for this incredible student body. Thanks for having us here. Thank you for all that you do in this industry. You guys are hugely important to cultivating leadership for this industry. My name is Eric Flo. I am the Chief Operating Officer of Flo Automotive Companies. We own about 55 dealerships in North Carolina and Virginia. And we are blessed to be able to come up to Northwood a couple times a year to try and recruit and hire some of you wonderful people down to North Carolina.
Hi there, and also want to echo my thanks. Thanks to Northwood for allowing us to be here today and this wonderful panel, to all the students as well. Lots of exciting things coming up this weekend, I hear. So very excited to be here. It's my very first time. So thrilled to be on the panel. I'm Grace Huang. I'm president of Inventory Solutions for Cox Automotive. Most people will know me as president of Mannheim. So we sell a lot of cars.
And I am Don Hall, and I flew in a private jet, and a big limo picked me out front thanks to Eric. So I know who the dealers are, and it was great. So thank you, Eric. I run the Virginia Auto Dealers Association. All the new car dealers in Virginia are my clients. I've had the privilege of serving them for 36 years. I spent 9 years in the retail car business prior to that, being a general manager, sales manager, F&I manager. And even prior to that, I was a United States Marine, which I'm most proud of, for 4 years active duty, over 50 years ago as a young guy.
My name is Sean Leibold. I'm with Reynolds & Reynolds. I did not come in a limo, and I did not come in a plane, but I left beautiful Dayton, Ohio at 3:45 this morning to get here in a beautiful Toyota. And so I'm just happy to be here. I really love Northwood. I was just telling my colleague Dave Bates when we were walking around, I'm like, this is just such a beautiful place. You students are so blessed to have a campus like this and a great college. So anyways, thanks for having me.
We have a lot of questions for our panel today. So kicking it off, Eric, I'll come to you first. With dealer relationships and customers and thinking about all of the potential challenges in the sales and service process, what would you say today are the main challenges dealers are facing?
Yeah, for us, I think the main challenges that I see dealer face, or I'm going to speak mainly from my point of view of Flo, which is how do we come to market in a differentiated way that helps customers really experience a dealer different than a lot of other dealers, right? So you go back 20 years ago, 30 years ago, people didn't have warranties, people weren't nice to you, people really strongly negotiated everything, tried to get every last dollar out of every deal. There were a few dealers who said, no, we're different, we treat customers right, et cetera. Nowadays, there's not a dealer out there that doesn't say, oh, we're the different dealer, we're the better dealer, you know. Everybody says that. And at the end of the day, a lot of us are selling similar products or same product, right? And so the experience we have to create in store, in market with our customers has to be different than other dealers for us to stand out. And there's a lot of technical hurdles to that, and then there's a lot of human capital hurdles to that. You know, from a dealer perspective, our data and the systems that we use are hugely fragmented, right? A lot of what we spend our time doing is saying, hey, we have 20 or 30 different systems or data partners, and we have to figure out how to string all that together so that we can deliver a solution to our customer that is different than the solution that the dealer down the road might have. Because if we can't be different in their experience and how they interact with us, we can't stand out. And then on the human capital side, we have to recruit and train incredible talent that knows how to build value with customers and who understands what we do. And what we do is not sell cars and do oil changes. What we do is provide solutions to transportation issues and create freedom for people trying to live their lives and go to work, go to church, take their kids to soccer practice. And if they have that orientation, then we think we'll be successful. But to me, those are the biggest problems. How do you stand out? How do you be different? And how do you have great people?
Grace, your perspective on the challenges and the relationships between customers and dealers.
Yeah, so being part of Manheim, our customers are actually the folks here. It's the dealers. And so we think about client experience a little bit differently. We want to make it really, really easy for dealers to do business with us so that they can make it easy to do business with their end customer. And so we've been leveraging and investing in a lot of technology, including AI, because we know that to make it easy, buying online is key. And so we sell roughly 70% of our vehicles online today, whether that's simulcast, if those are familiar with simulcast, or completely on a digital platform. So our goal is always make it as good as being in person, being part of the wholesale auctions. So we think about it a little bit differently, but technology is definitely one of the biggest things we're leveraging right now to make that easier.
Don, what is your perspective from the dealer and the customer experience piece?
Well, what we do in an association world is a couple things. One, we want to make sure we educate dealers about how to be better with customers. What are the latest trends and how to make sure that customers have great buying experiences. One of my jobs is to make sure we pass laws that protect the customer's buying experience and what the customer values the most, and that is the honesty and the integrity of the deal and the way that they buy their cars. So we protect both the dealers and the consumers, but sometimes have to drag our OEMs into some of these arguments with us to make sure we take care of customers as well. So we know as an association, it's all about the customer buying experience. And that's where we spend all of our time reminding dealers that this is about customers. And sometimes having an outsider telling them that, especially an outsider who's a Marine, who's got a lot of experience in this industry, it's helpful for them to be reminded it's all about the customer. And I'll finish with this comment. It's all about the customer. But if we don't have happy staff, we'll never have happy customers. Take care of our people first and foremost, and they will indeed take care of those who buy cars from us.
Sean, what is your perspective on the customer experience from the Reynolds point of view?
First of all, I think I drew the short straw on having to follow Don every single time. So from Reynolds' perspective, it kind of goes along the lines of what Don just said. We try to make the transaction seamless. We try to make the transaction transparent through our technology. We try to make it easy flowing. To kind of Eric's point too, we try to help the process be different. So we have solutions like DocuPad, which are basically the cutting edge type technologies that kind of make that buying experience very memorable for the client because they feel like they're being able to be a bigger part in that process. It also helps the dealers be compliant, but it creates a special experience for the client. So,
I'd like to ask you all about areas in which you feel dealers need to improve. I mentioned earlier we're in the fourth quarter now, heading into a new year in just a matter of weeks. Don Hall, I'd like to start with you. You represent a lot of dealers in Virginia. And Don, I don't want you to be shy about this. Areas that you feel that dealers need to be focused on and improving.
I see my friend Brian out here in the audience today, so he'll recognize some of these comments for sure. Look, at the end of the day, I get people saying, look, we've got a great vacation policy at our dealership. I said, oh, what's that? Well, we give you 2 weeks after the first full week of employment. Then you get 2 weeks. 2 weeks. If you look in the papers in Richmond, Virginia, and every other major city in the country, they'll hire you with 3 weeks vacation to begin with. They'll bring you into the retirement plans right away. They give you great health benefits and so forth. We're competing in the open marketplace to bring in great people to organizations. We have to give them the kinds of things that others are willing to give them. We have a tendency not to do that. My view is let's spend a little bit of our retained earnings. Maybe we make a little bit less. But I promise you, and I do promise you this, if you do that, you'll sell more cars, you'll have happier people, and you'll make more gross because we always know the history has always been we make a lot of money on a customer, we treat them really well, and they're very happy with their buying experience. So if you take care of your people, give them benefits that matter, give them retirement, give them a vacation, and understand their kids have soccer on Tuesday afternoon at 3 o'clock, give them time off to go to that. You take care of them, you're going to be one happy dealer and one happy dealership network and organization.
Don, you mentioned that Eric is one of your dealers.
Eric's not only one of my dealers, he's also my board of directors, and they're one of those organizations that is embodying and embracing these kinds of concepts. Are many others, including the Carter Myers Automotive Group. There are many dealers who are doing this, but not enough. We still have many who are holding back from doing what's right by the people that work in the stores. We have to do that. We don't need unions to do it for us. We can do it because we care about those who sacrifice to be in our wonderful industry.
Eric, I'll come to you. Areas that you feel your fellow dealers need to improve or to be focused on.
Yeah, sure. So I still think the vast majority of the dealer body is way too myopic, and you saw this during COVID. Dealers selling cars way over MSRP that they knew was going to put customers in a terrible situation 2 years later. That was going to make that customer never want to come back to that dealership, right? So we're entirely too focused on right now and not a long-term customer relationship. I still don't think dealers are transparent enough in pricing and how they come to market with customers. There's too much negotiating that still happens that is really astounding to me in 2024. And then we still don't know how to really let customers shop and buy the way they want to. And, my solution for the dealers, in my opinion, are the best suited to be able to compete in an omni-channel world. We have the brick and mortar. It's old, it's amortized, it's sunk cost, it's already there. We should be able to outcompete any online-only provider. And we all have online media assets that we should be able to leverage to help customers buy cars fully online or anywhere in between. We also have point hub and spoke distribution networks called dealerships already set up to be able to deliver cars to customers. So I really think we're missing the ball in that area still. We've made progress, but a lot of us are really stuck in trying to force customers into a single purchase pathway still.
Sean, you work with a lot of dealers at Reynolds and Reynolds, and you're on the forefront of being very good at seeing things and seeing needs before they happen. What's happening now at Reynolds in terms of areas that you feel that dealers need to be focused on and improving?
I think some of the really cool things that are going on in the industry, and I think it helps dealers gain some of that trust back from the consumers. Things like the videoing of service inspections in the back end, and then sending those videos to the client while they're at work, and they can show them the brake pads are going bad, and they can actually see it. Whereas, in the past, you just had to trust the tech or the advisor, and you never saw the picture. So I think some of the things that are going on in the back end of the dealership are really, really cool things that are going to help the consumer get some more of that trust back, to Eric's point.
That trust. Before I come to Grace, I want to do a quick follow-up with Don Hall, if I could, on those technician videos, because we have techs now, being the face of the dealership and representing the dealership, customer facing, okay? Your thoughts on that?
Well, we've always sort of struggled. Those of us that were front-end guys never understood the back end, if you will. It is the most important end of the business, in my view. Many of us now are forming and getting really engaged in career and technical education. Techs are our future, and it takes smart young people who want to work on today's vehicles. And oh, by the way, they make really good money. They're very valuable to us, and as I say so often, by putting your son or daughter into that profession, they can work anywhere in the world doing what they do. Now, we hope they stay where they're at for a long period of time. Techs have become very, very valuable. I think the average dealer today recognizes and understands that, and as a result, we're doing a much better job in attracting and hopefully keeping them gainfully employed for a long period of time, because techs are our future. And if you deal with the manufacturers, they will tell you as well, it's a big part of what we do today, and that's repairing vehicles, and that will continue.
I just want to add, the feedback that we get from customers about things like technician videos is astounding. And one of the things I think that stands out about it is sort of in the 2024 Instagram filter, everything staged world, having this sort of authentic person walk you through a car really connects with people. It's remarkable. But, text videos from technicians is sort of one of those issues that it's a great point solution, right? But you think about the dealership tech stack, and it's this point solution that's not integrated with everything else necessarily. And so as an industry, we have to say, okay, we've solved, we have a CRM, we can email people. We have a texting solution. We have a video solution. We have a multi-point inspection solution. Are we sending customers all of these different communications from some different random number, and it's not in a handheld? I mean, if you think about what you would do in any other industry, if you were at some resort and you signed in and you got an app, and every piece of communication, your dining reservations, a concierge, whatever, all came to some sort of centralized portal. We have a lot of individual point solutions in our industry, but they're not brought together in a consolidated viewpoint where a customer can really interact with them and have this centralized place to handle issues with that dealer. It's a big need.
Yeah, I wanted to go back just quickly to the buying process. So at Cox Automotive, one of the things we're really, really focused on is to help the dealers on the two sides of me make that omni-channel much more seamless. We know that customers want to be able to come in and out of that buying, whether that's online or physically. And as Eric said, the biggest benefit is the fact that there are physical assets. Vehicles are a physical thing, as we all know. It needs to be touched, it needs to be handled. And by the way, they're getting way more complicated, especially with EVs, and you want that personal touch. But you also want to be able to do it at the comfort of home. And that's what we're most proud of, is that to be here to really help all the dealers get there and give them the tools so it is seamless, so it isn't switching between multiple different platforms and so forth. And so we're here to support the dealers to continue to really improve that buying process and to make it the way the future wants it. And also respect the fact that there are people that might still want to come in the store, and that's okay.
Ted, if I can make one quick comment. One of the things that concerns me, we heard great things about what techs are doing, but we also have manufacturers right now who are not treating those techs right in the way they're paying warranty work. We're working hard to level that playing field to make sure that techs want to work on warranty work rather than customer pay work. And this is a real problem. And so manufacturers need to hear this loud and clear. In order to keep our techs happy and have these kind of experiences they're referring to, we have to keep them. And we're not going to keep them working on warranty issues unless the manufacturers open up their eyes and are willing to pay properly, so that those techs say, boss, I'm happy to work on a warranty repair versus a customer pay repair.
We're here at Northwood University, and the topic today that we've been discussing so much, Ted, and Eric, you mentioned something about the customer experience and some of the best practices that you're doing at Flow Automotive. What advice would you be giving students and those looking, to really improve that experience for their customer base?
Yeah, so the advice I would give students is to remember, and I said this a little bit earlier, but it's really central and core, that what you're selling is not a car in a tire rotation or oil change. You're selling the ability for families to really live their lives. And if you remember that and you frame your orientation around that, and that's how you approach every sort of human interaction you have, I think that is the point of view that helps you understand the importance of what you're doing. Bigger picture in this industry, from a customer experience world, we think in dealerships that we have a lot of processes, those of us who are successful. Go to a manufacturing plant, we don't have processes. Go to a surgery room, we don't have processes. We have ideas of processes, right? And so we've been living in a world for a long time where it was human-led, tech-enhanced. For us to really make a jump to have this sort of homogeneous experience with our customers in the way we want to, we have to make a jump to a tech-led, human-enhanced experience, where technology is leading the experience and humans are enhancing the experience where humans add value. It's not an anti-human thing. I think humans make a ton of difference in the retail experience. They just only make the difference where they need to. Are you really telling me a human needs to appraise a 4-year-old Honda with 60,000 miles on it with a clean Carfax? Humans do not need to do that. Do humans need to appraise a 12-year-old car that's a one-off with this and that and maybe an issue or two? Sure, that's where humans can add value. Do humans need to be involved with, multiple lien holders and proof of income and some bad credit situation? Yes, humans need to be involved in that. That's where the human element makes a big difference. Do humans need to be involved in an 800 beacon, 30% down purchase? Not necessarily. So we have to embrace where humans make a big difference and then let technology take care of the areas where humans don't have to make that difference.
Grace, how are you seeing the customer experience evolve?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, again, it is using technology. As I mentioned, we're implementing AI. And when I say AI, it sounds very, very scary, but humans are very much still in the loop. And so when I think about the advice for all the future graduates here in the room, a couple things, right? First, stay curious. Our industry is changing so fast, and I know that the technology that's out there is going to change the way we look at the world very, very soon. And lots of companies across the board, lots of dealerships are testing a whole bunch of different things. So stay curious and stay flexible. There's a lot of change coming. And then for new graduates going into the workplace, there's two things that I always look for. Initiative. Look, if you take initiative, no one is ever going to fault you for taking initiative. So lean in and learn as much as you can. And last but not least, it is still very much a relationship business, no matter what part of the automotive industry you're in. Whether you're working with team members or you're working with clients or vendors, it's a relationship business. So just make sure that, as you're thinking about your senior year, it is about getting good grades. I don't want any parents mad at me here. But it's also about cultivating the relationships and the opportunities you have here at Northwood. You will be working with some of the folks in your graduating class, in the classes above you and the classes below you in your career. So make the most out of your senior year and make the most out of the relationships that you start building here at Northwoods.
Sean, your perspective.
What was the question? So I'll echo what Grace said as well. Is I think that Reynolds did a really cool thing this past NADA. We took some Northwood students to NADA on our dime. They were our interns for a couple days at NADA, and they really were an extension of us on the floor. They were able to roam the halls and provide us with some feedback, kind of to Grace's point. We wanted curious kids, curious young people out there, seeing things from a different lens. And I can tell you that you guys are so much more prepared than other college students that I see. It's amazing what Northwood has done with you. Obviously, selfishly, we would love to hire you. So kind of he's got cooler hair than I do, so I mean he might be more fun. So, but no, in all honesty, we sincerely appreciate the partnership with Northwood, and you guys are very, very blessed to have come out here. So I'm getting 2 minutes.
Don, your perspective, customer experience, advice for our students today.
Get in this industry because you love people. If you love people, you'll have a great career. If you're willing to work hard and be honest and love people, no matter whether you work with our partners to my left and my right, or in the retail business itself, love people, and this is a great choice. And the years will go by so quick, and you'll love your careers.
All right, lightning round, last question, 30 seconds for each panelist, starting with Eric, and then we'll go right down the line, finishing with Sean. If you had to speak to the Northwood student body, which many of you have been doing, one thing you'd recommend in terms of their career choices and moving forward, this is your chance, and what you'd like to share with them, starting with Eric Flo.
I'm going to say this, and it's going to sound very self-serving, and it is, but it doesn't mean it's not true. If you want to stay in automotive, the best thing you can do is go spend time in retail first. And I think Don Hall will echo this. If you really want to be a manufacturer, I would, on the manufacturer, component, or supplier side, I would never try to convince you to stay in retail your whole life. But I'll tell you this, whether you're making cars or you're making parts, eventually they have to be sold. And if you understand how they get sold, because that's where the final value stream is, then that will help you if you move upstream of that, whether it's on the component end, the aftermarket end, or the OEM end. And what I have seen before is that in the OEM world, people who have a lot of time in retail are very valuable to the OEMs if they move into that OEM world. So I think retail is a great place to start. North Carolina has wonderful weather. We have a great program. Here you go, Grace.
You know what? I won't argue against Eric. Retail is a great place to start. But after that, come join us on the wholesale side. If you want to move a lot of cars, like over 4 million a year, come join us at Mannheim. It's a different world out there.
Nothing beats New York.
Brian's putting in his 30 cents. No, but serious. This is a great industry, and honestly, you can't go wrong wherever you start. Go with your passions is where I would say.
The beautiful thing about this industry, no matter who you are, where you came from, what color you are, what sex you are, your preferences in life, what church you go to, you can excel in the auto industry. What a great choice. I'm happy for those of you that are embarking upon this trip in life, and I hope you have as much joy as many of us in this room have had, having been in this industry for a long time.
Still a tough act to follow, but I think my advice to the student body would be it is an awesome industry. It's an amazing industry that opens up doors all over the place. Whether you work in the retail like an Eric, you can move around in departments. Auto is such a resilient industry as well. Yes. You know, it's got ebbs and flows, but for the most part, I mean, it's, you know, if car sales are down, fixed ops is up. You know, if car sales are up, back end's up. So it's just a fun industry to be a part of. Visit us at rayray.com for applications. Technology is awesome. We're growing like crazy. We're trying to help the automotive retail space grow like crazy. So just look into technology as well. So,
Sean, Don, Grace, and Eric, great job. This panel is a tough act to follow. Let's give it up for the panel, everybody. Great job. We're at Northwood University. We're going to be coming right back.